Yeah, coach, just what difference have you seen from Baycott this season compared to years past? And then how well do you think you've defended low post presence this season? Thanks.
I'm going to start with that. Okay. First, yeah, Baycott is playing at an extremely high level right now, and Carolina is really exploiting his ability to score and rebound. He's having a sensational sophomore, junior year. Is he a junior now?
Junior. Well,
yeah,
you're a sophomore, I guess.
Yeah, sophomore, junior, and you know, it's not one of our major strengths. Our guys fight like crazy. They do a really good job of competing, but we're not a big, strong physical team. Guys like Sam Wardenberg and Jordan Miller, weigh 200 pounds, 215 pounds. So that Carolina is a major challenge for us because of their size and speed and scoring ability.
We'll go now to Matt Shodell from CaneSport. Matt.
Hey, Jim. I think this is probably the longest break, at least by a couple of days, that you have remaining here this season. I was curious, do you have what's the plan? Do you give kids time off? Do you work every day really hard? Like, walk us through the plan.
Well, we played Tuesday. We took off Wednesday. Yesterday, we practiced. Unfortunately, today, we were supposed to have like a mini scrimmage, and we don't have enough guys to scrimmage. We've got some nagging little injuries that we're trying to avoid escalating. After you've played so many games, how many games have we played so far? We have.
You can leave it at a lot. I believe it's a lot.
17, coach.
Yeah, so we have 13 games remaining. We've played 17, and we've got some guys that are pretty banged up who've played a lot of minutes. So chances are today will be just a kind of a walkthrough. Tomorrow is definitely a day off, and then 2 days to prepare for Carolina on Sunday and Monday. So I'm hoping our team will be at full strength by Sunday.
Go to Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald now.
Hey, Jim. I have two questions, if you don't mind. One of them is your bench. I think the bench had 0 points against FSU. And, if you'd even had a couple of points from them, that may have been the difference in the victory there. I just wanted to ask you about the lack of production from the bench. And also, I just want to ask you, what kind of crowd are you expecting Tuesday? Do you feel like there's more of a buzz around your team now that you've, won all these games? You're sitting on top of the ACC. I mean, what are you expecting from the fans?
Well, let's start about the bench. Very, very disappointing that our bench was not able to contribute at the offensive end at all. 0 points is. They've been so good in other games, including just the game before against Duke. Uga Poplar, scoring, Anthony Walker scoring. The games where Bensley Joseph, I think it was against Syracuse, where he nailed a couple of threes. So we did not have a great game from our bench. And unfortunately, that's one of Florida State's greatest strengths. They had 25 points from their bench. So we were right there still at the end, up one with 7 seconds to go. So it didn't cost us the game, but I very, very clearly, had those guys been able to get 6 or 8 or 10 points, it would have made a significant contribution and probably would have helped us win the game. As far as the crowd is concerned, I have no idea, but my experience at Miami tells me that playing North Carolina at home is a big draw, that people love the big games. And if you play Duke, doesn't matter where you play them, that's a big game. If you play North Carolina, it doesn't matter where you play them, that's a big game. So I hope our fans, number one, will turn out. I hope our students will. But I also hope that they'll wear their mask and try to be safe. And if they're not comfortable, that they'll stay home and watch it on TV or listen to Joe Zagacki on the radio. All those are good options.
Thank you.
We'll go now to Tom D'Angelo from the Palm Beach Post. Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Hey, Jim. Jim, I'm wondering, what's it like coaching this year as opposed to what you had to go through last year with not knowing if you're going to have 6, 7, 8 guys available? You've been relatively healthier, much healthier, and relatively healthy this year. I don't want to say easier, but what is, coming into practice, how much better do you feel about that?
Okay, well, first of all, last year our roster was decimated with injuries. And the problem with that is when you only have 6 or 7 healthy players, you can't afford for any one of them to then get hurt. Mm-hmm. And it's very, very hard to prepare for an opponent because you can't simulate what the opponent's strategy is going to be. You can tell your team, you can show them on video, but they can't actually physically get out there and plan like we can this year. One of the best things I can tell you is our scout team has done an absolutely amazing job. They're terrific guys. We have Philip Gogos, who's a walk-on. We have Thomas Osterbrook, who's a walk-on. We are redshirting at this moment Ja'Kai Robinson. He's a scholarship freshman, but he's been playing with the scout team. Since Rodney Miller has come back and finally is healthy to practice because he's not in game shape yet, he's been practicing with the scout team. And then we throw in somebody else to give them 5. And no matter who that is, sometimes it's Wooga Poplar, sometimes it's somebody else. Anthony Walker has been on the scout team. Those guys have done an absolutely amazing job. And when I tell you that our starters have had a very hard time guarding them, and they've scored against our starters. Yesterday, we had a scrimmage. The green team, the second unit, outscored the white team in the scrimmage 25-13. So we know they're very capable, but under game circumstances, the starters have played terrific. And the second unit is just didn't play quite as well against Florida State, but has been instrumental in our win over Duke and Syracuse.
And if I could, one more kind of off the beaten path. When did you start dancing after big wins? And how do you describe your dance?
Okay, I have no idea of when I did that before. I do know this. When we beat Illinois in the NCAA tournament, and for the last 5 minutes of the game, I was just asking our players to fight, just keep fighting and fighting and fighting. And then after the game, I didn't dance. I did the Muhammad Ali shuffle. And that came to mind because Muhammad Ali is one of my favorite athletes of all time. He's the greatest fighter, in my opinion, of all time. And the Ali shuffle, he was highly recognized for his float like a butterfly, but sting like a bee. It crossed my mind walking into the locker room. I had no idea that would go virtual. I just did it because I was excited. Our players were excited. The only other time, there's 2 other times that I believe I danced. One was with the Whippin' Nene. That happened to be a popular dance at the time. And the other was, I don't remember. We won a tournament championship. I think it was in Puerto Rico. So, as a coach, you get excited for your players. You want them to celebrate, enjoy, big victories. And sometimes those things become more memorable because of something other than the game. And it's always fun to interact with you guys like that.
Thank you.
We got time for 2 more quick ones for Coach L, folks. Then we've got players that are ready to go. We'll go back to Chris and then Michelle. Chris.
Yeah, Coach, just your thoughts on Isaiah Wong's performance for the season. His shooting numbers are up. I'm just curious what you've made. Are there improvements that he's made this year, even compared to a year ago?
Isaiah is, in quotations, a high octane scorer. He knows how to score the basketball on drives, on pull-up jump shots, on getting fouled, on making threes. He made a step back move the other night against Florida State. I thought the shot was in, and it would have been a 3-point shot. It would have given us like a 4-point lead. And I was very surprised it actually missed. But he has been the go-to guy when we need points. He and Charlie Moore and Cam Auguste are all what I consider just go-to guys that you can set up a play for them and they can deliver.
All right, last question for Coach L. I'll go back to Michelle.
All right. I want to ask you about Bensley Joseph, since we're going to be speaking with him. It seems like his defense, I know his defensive intensity is something that you've been impressed with. Can you just talk about what you expected from him coming in as a freshman, and has he contributed more than you thought, or, what is his upside? Just kind of your evaluation of him.
Well, the first thing you should know is Bensley Joseph smiles every day. He is the happiest guy. In fact, our 3 freshmen are all that way. Wooga Poplar has got a great personality. Jakai Robinson is a little bit more serious, a little quieter than those guys, but all very, very positive, upbeat personalities, which I absolutely love. In Bensley's case, once we started practice and we had enough statistical information to analyze his game, he was very concerned about, playing time. And I explained to him about how you earn playing time. When I showed him his stats, he was absolutely shocked that they weren't of his capability. And so he has really taken to heart the idea of improving, getting smarter, being more selective with his shots, being ready as soon as he takes the court. And he's been basically our 6th man through the whole season, and he is an absolute key contributor at both ends of the court. And he's just going to keep getting better and better.